Hello, thank you so much for joining me tonight. My name is Sharon Rogers and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine in the United States. And even though it's my Friday night live, I come live every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm actually not live tonight. I am shooting this on a Tuesday night, frantically getting ready to depart tomorrow for the few days of R&R at the family cabin. But I wanted to make sure that there was still something for my regulars to watch on Friday night. And of course, if you can't join me live at 7:30 on Friday nights, you can certainly catch me on the replay. Tonight, I have a very quick and simple project for you that I think will make you think about how you use some things. Let's see what I mean. All right, so for tonight, we're going to need a few things. I am using a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock, and this is my card base, regular size. So it is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored in half at 4 1/4 and folded. I need a piece of basic white, and this size varies. It really can depend on what you want it to be. A lot of times I have it so all the borders are even, but this time I'm not going to do that. The only thing that are going to be even are these two sides right here. These two sides will not be, and this won't be the same as these sides. So, but it is totally up to you. I'm just going to give you a basic idea. We'll also need a layer for the inside, and we'll need an envelope. We will need some masking paper, and so I have some here already, and we will need a stamp set that has outline images, and I'm going to be using Happiness Abounds. And I have to confess, I did not come up with this design. I'm not even changing the stamp set out. This was presented on Demonstrator Planning Place, which is a Stampin' Up! Facebook group for demonstrators by Stampin' Up! And they produced a little video or a little Zoom that was called Craft and Chat. And so this was one of the projects that was presented. And I thought, perfect, I don't need to spend some time coming up with something original when this is a great little card. So what's great about this set is it has a bunch of different sayings, and it's got some outline images, and the outline image is important. I'm also going to be using the coordinating dies, the Blossoming Happiness dies, but you don't need to. You can hand cut what you need. But I am actually going to use this one because I am using this coordinating flower right here as my focal point. You will also need the coordinating ink, and you'll need a blending brush. The first thing I'm going to do is cut my masking paper into some strips. I'm going to use 1/2 inch strips, and I need 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have also already die cut from here. When you're die cutting, it is important to know which side is up. So the masking paper has a section that you can peel away, and this side right here that remains is sticky. So this is the side that remains up, and that's the side you want to die cut from. You don't want to die cut from the side that has that peel away part. The next thing we need to do is we need to de-stick these a little bit, especially if you live in a humid climate or perhaps it's been raining like it has been here. This tends to stick and possibly tear your cardstock when you take it up. So if you de-stick it, which is a very technical term, as you can tell, one I use a lot, if you de-stick it, that will help. So I usually just do it on my clothes. So you're not going to be able to watch me do this, but I am just sticking it to my shirt, and you'll do it several times. All right, so I just did it 4 times, and I'm going to do that with all 4 of these. Okay, so I've done that. Remember, I had die cut one of the flowers already, so I'm going to peel away the back from that. And let me show you. So here is the masking paper, and right down the center is where that line runs. Whenever possible, I try to get whatever I'm die cutting or cutting out to run across that line, because then it makes it really easy to peel the pieces apart. Otherwise, you have to fiddle a little bit more. It's not that you can't do it. It's just makes it a little bit trickier sometimes, especially if you don't have fingernails like me. So I'm de-sticking this flower, and we should be good there. So the next thing I need to do is I need to get out my Memento Tuxedo Black. And you always want to use the Memento and not the StazOn with the photopolymer. The photopolymer does not play nicely with the StazOn. I'm going to ink this up. Make sure it's nicely inked. And I'm going to stamp in the center here. Nice clean image. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to take the time to place this on my grid sheet because I want some nice straight lines. Here's one of my pieces now. When I destuck this from my on my clothes, some days I can do this on my clothes, some days I can't. Depends how much cat hair I have on mine. You want to make sure you don't have any cat hairs sticking out of the edges, because that is going to show up. I'm going to lay that down right across here. I'm going to do the same thing on the top. Now I can see right here that there's a little bit of a gap here and not so much over there, but it looks like there's the same thing down here. So I'm probably, no, it's probably not good enough for me. I have to fix it. I have to fix it. I'm gonna put this right alongside the top. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now the gaps are pretty good. And then I'm going to take this one, and well, before I do that one, I'm going to actually stick the flower over the top. Now the dies that come with this stamp set will cut out the flower a little bit larger. There'll be just a little bit of a halo when we're done, but it's not going to ruin anything. If you don't like the little halo that's around the flower, you can certainly fussy cut it. But I think we can mostly agree that we don't really want a fussy cut if we can help it. So now I'm going to use the lines on my grid paper to get a nice spacing here. So there's a little space. And then I'm going to come up and I'm actually going to make a bigger space. So I think you can see here that we've got a a small width, a medium width, and then a larger width. We're going to take our Bermuda Bay ink it up on my blender brush, and start inking. And you can do this however you'd like. You can give it an ombre look. Is ombre the same when it's, I think it is, when it's even with one color? So you can have it all one solid color if you want, you know, the same depth of color in each section, or you can make it lighter at the top and more intense at the bottom. I'm going to make it a little bit more intense at the bottom, I think. So wherever this masking paper is, you're going to protect the cardstock underneath. So when we remove the mask, you will see white cardstock. We're protecting that cardstock underneath. let's see. I think I still want it a little bit darker here. And we'll just rub it in a little bit more here, and then just try to even this up a little bit. So I had a little bit of a splotch there, but it's not bad. Okay, let's call that good. Now we're going to very carefully remove the mask. And the reason why you want to be careful is because you don't want to rip the paper. But see, it came off pretty easily, and I can actually reuse that. So if I wanted to make a set of cards using this technique, I certainly could reuse those pieces. Again, going very slowly. Look at those nice, crisp, clean stripes. Oops, I can't, well, I can still reuse this mask because I only ripped the end off it. And then, of course, we have to take this flower off. So let me show you what I was talking about, that halo. You see that little white around the black? But I think that looks fine. I don't think it's a problem at all. So now let's bring in our stamp set again. And what are we going to say to somebody? Let's wish them a happy birthday. So we'll find the happy birthday stamp here. That's this one. Photopolymer, you put it upside down, stick it. Rather than stick the stamp onto the block, put the block onto the stamp. I know that sounds almost the same, but it is not. We are going to ink up happy birthday. And because I can see where it goes, I'm going to put this right in this middle stripe right here. There we go. And now we just need to finish off the card. So I'm going to bring my card base back in here, and just look how pretty that looks. Just monochromatic, black and white don't count, so it's really just one color. It's Bermuda Bay. We have a little bit different. We have darker Bermuda Bay down here than up here, but it is still one color, so it qualifies as monochromatic. So now we'll bring in some embellishments. I have some classic matte dots, and I have a choice of using the white or the black on here. Let's see, I'm gonna coordinate my twine with it. I think I have just enough black twine to probably do a bow around here. So let's go ahead and use the black. I'm going to get out my take your pick tool, and let's see. We're just gonna put a couple of these dots on. So let's put the heavier one down here. Actually, let's go ahead and see if I can remove that. And I can. And we'll put this one up here. And then we'll put a little one down here. So our set of 3. We'll tie some twine, some baker's twine right around here. And let's see, make sure I've got enough for a little bow. I don't usually tie bows, so I probably cut more than I needed to. I just don't know how to gauge bow with twine bows. There we go. Let's see. Now we just adjust it. One of the reasons that twine bows is so nice is because they are very forgiving when it comes to tying bows. You can straighten them out usually pretty easily. I say that, and then I'm having a little bit of trouble because I'm getting this all twisted. All right, let's just even it out. I could play with this forever and it still wouldn't be right. Trim the ends. Just adjust it maybe over a little bit more. And I think I need my bows just a little bit smaller. I mean, my, you know, these things. My ears, not my tails, my ears. Let's go ahead and adhere this, and you can use your adhesive of choice. I'm going to use liquid glue. And I want to put it like that, I think. That looks pretty good. I'm not all that happy with my bow at the moment. I probably should retie it. But, did I mention I have lots to do before I go to Pittsburgh tomorrow? So, we're going to leave that like that. Now, of course, we can't leave our envelope or our insides blank. So let's go ahead and get that same stamp out. We won't need the die. Let's get that same stamp out again, as well as our memento. And we're going to stamp that flower right down here in the corner. We're going to do the same thing on our envelope. There we go. And we are all done stamping, but we're not all done adding color. Oh, we're not all done stamping because we actually need to put in an inside sentiment in our card. So let's go ahead and do that while we're here. Let's see, I'm going to use, I think, the wishing you all the happiness you can imagine. We'll find that one. Place that on our block. There it is. Now I just need to add a little bit of color. And there's still some residual ink on my blending brush. I'm just going to come in here and blend in that center a little bit. Isn't that pretty? Let's see, we'll do the same thing for our envelope. A great way to get a good cleaning on the brush started, as well as add some color to the envelope and inside of your card. There we go. Let's go ahead and adhere this inside. And let's see, here we go. And there we have a fun little birthday card. Now, one of the things that the demonstrator who did this was talking about is when she does a class, she lets people pick their own colors, which is great. But, you know, if you were at home doing this, you could make a rainbow of colors and put them all in a gift box and give that as a gift to someone. You could make all occasion. You can, because this set, for instance, has friend and best wishes, congratulations. If you wanted to do the sending many thanks for all you do, maybe you just make a wider masking strip here and stamp it in there so that it fits. But really easy card to do. Doesn't take a ton of supplies, just takes one color. Plus black. Black doesn't count. But that's it. Thank you once again for joining me on my Friday night Not So Live. Next week I plan to be back live and in person. So I hope you'll be joining me then. Just a reminder that celebration is coming to a close. So whether there's a special celebration item that you want to get, or perhaps you want to start stocking up on supplies for your Christmas cards or your fall cards, now's a great time to do it because you do get to get something for free. And especially if you're doing fall cards, you might want to consider the brushed metallic cardstocks. They are perfect for fall, as is the aspen dies. But just a reminder, when August is done, celebration is done. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. I will be back in town tomorrow and ready to get back in my stamp room.